There we go.
I'm trying to figure out because like I know whenever I do it on my end, like it's different than how it was with Mike and Fritos whenever they do the 2-man group.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, thank you all for sticking with us through these technical difficulties as we're figuring out some new format stuff. And welcome to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. I am your host, Coach, and I am joined by my esteemed colleague and producer who just made my screen smaller, and now I'm back to normal.
I'm sorry, Coach.
Big Daddy C. C, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
You know, not so bad. For those of you that are listeners of the podcast, I missed last night due to a little bit of an illness, still recovering from it, and I'm happy to be back on our normal Monday night show. And got to give a big shout out to C for carrying the load yesterday in my absence. I saw the show, and I was
no credit for me. I did not make it either. Yeah, I did not make it either. Yeah, I was just like, I had stuff going on, but. Which I feel bad for because that was our 50th episode for the Sunday pod.
Oh, dude, I feel bad too.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I'm like, in terms of our Sunday episodes, that was the 50th episode. But yeah, all the others, miscellaneous episodes or reactions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's talk some wrestling.
All right, so we're starting our Monday Night Raw. The fallout of the Royal Rumble, and who better to start us out than the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso. He comes into the ring, yeeting from the crowd, to which the crowd is going absolutely nuts. I think I kept track. It was about a 7 to 8 minute standing ovation for Jey Uso getting to that ring. And when he got there, it lasted even longer. It got to the point to where the crowd was actually chanting one more time for his theme song to be played. I don't think I've ever remember that for a wrestler. Either way, Jey finally, you can hear the emotion in his voice as he's talking.
Don't mean to cut you off. I figured it out. I finally figured it out. So I was on there's there's a rectangle one and there's a square one. So like I figured I had to be on the rectangle one. So cool.
Gotcha.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Crowd chanting, "You deserve it." Jey talking about how he was afraid to do the singles action and now he feels like he belongs. And the crowd, again, loving this. And Gunther interrupts, to no surprise. And he comes out, and what I loved about Gunther's promo is that he pretty much stated everything that the internet was complaining about when Jey Uso won. Mm-hmm. And he used it in his promo, and I thought that was genius. He said, I could have had way better high-profile matches with Cena, Punk, or Seth Rollins, but instead I get you, which is exactly what the internet trolls had been saying since Saturday night. So it was a nice rub in the face by WWE that this is the route that they're going. And I think 99.9% of people are behind this decision. But as the segment ended with Gunther saying he would make Jey's life a living hell if he decided to pick Gunther's championship, Jey said he's going to Friday Night SmackDown to talk with Cody, and he has not made his official decision yet, but all signs pointing towards Gunther being the one to get challenged. See your thoughts on this opening segment.
I thought it was awesome, man. Like just the opening, him coming out to the ring, got all the people surrounding him, hyped up and everything. And, before he even gave his promo, it's just like, you know what, play my music again. You know,
Mhm.
we not done. We not done. And so I thought it was awesome, man. And as that was happening, one of my friends from high school, John, he hit me up. What? He's like, what do you think is what was a bigger movement, the Yes movement or the Yeet movement? I'm like, man,
Oh.
I was like, man, that's a tough question. But I was like, I would say the Yes movement
Mhm.
primarily because of the authority storyline in itself. Like you had to have that. Like it's almost like with Austin and McMahon, you needed like the evil boss to try to take down, and all their minions and all the other stuff. And like Daniel Bryan, he was the big underdog that had to overcome all of that. And so I feel like that's why that was the Yes movement was just as big. And even after the Yes movement, even after that storyline, like it was still big at times. So whenever Daniel Bryan, you know, came out there, like everyone's chanting yes. He
Mhm.
goes to a different company, there's still yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. So I mean, two different companies, that should tell you everything you need to know. But yeah, back to the opening. Um, yeah, I thought it was awesome. I was like, it was inevitable that Gunther was going to come out there, and talk his trash. I think after Saturday night's main event, I feel like the route that we're going is those two going at it at WrestleMania, and then whoever wins the Chamber is going against Cody, which
Mhm.
part of me feels like with that match it probably be um, okay, probably be Punk, uh,
Mhm.
and if I feel like if it's not Punk, maybe Cena, or possibly both a triple threat. Um,
No, that'd be good.
yeah, so I definitely don't think. I think Jay, along with Charlotte, they're doing their due diligence and going to both shows to see, all right, who's better for me to go against, like who's the best opponent. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, Jay is going to choose Gunther. And so, yeah, I thought it was awesome opening segment. So we'll see what happens on Friday.
All right, then we get to our first match of the night, which is Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser looking to get revenge after Penta was the one who eliminated Kaiser at the Royal Rumble after Kaiser was in for a total of 6 seconds. And Penta being the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble. So, I mean, pretty straightforward match. I thought, with Penta, you're always going to have some really good spots. Crowd seemed a little yeeted out for this one after that opening segment.
Mhm.
But Penta did a really great job firing the crowd up. Penta would eventually get the win with the Penta driver. And after the match, when he was getting interviewed by Jackie Redmond, Pete Dunne's music hit, and Dunne walked down the ring aisle, only for Ludwig Kaiser to attack Penta from behind. And Kaiser and Dunne looked at each other as Kaiser walked away, and Dunn kept staring at Penta, and that kind of ended the segment abruptly, in my opinion. Your thoughts there, C?
Um, that was rather interesting. I think with Penta defeating both of these guys, I feel like you know, like with Penta being the new guy on the block, uh, Kaiser and Dunn kind of feel like afterthoughts in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I guess they're like, all right, you beat us, and now people just gonna move on, and then the Rumble didn't work out too well in Kaiser's favor, So, well, Dunn as well. Yeah, Dunn was in there earlier, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
was not in there, yeah. And so yeah, I feel like I don't know if this is going to be a situation where we get a triple threat because I know Kaiser and Dunn have had their issues in the past, and so who knows what's going to happen. But I think we're probably going to get another match. We're probably going to get Penta, um, probably Penta versus Dunn. I don't know if it'll be at the Chamber or not, but we'll see what happens. But I thought the match itself was pretty decent. And then I think I would say if anything, these three would probably be in line for a future IC title match. I know they teased Penta versus Braun Breaker, and I know Braun Breaker is I know he's probably trying to focus on the next opponent or find out who his next opponent is going to be. I know there was a segment we saw him in Adam Pearce's office. I'll let you get into that later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a cool, decent match though.
Yeah, and before we get to our next segment, we get a backstage segment with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Sami congratulating Jey, saying that he's so happy for him, only to be interrupted by Karrion Kross, who says let me see, I just wanted to... Yes, okay, so Kross basically threatened to become a problem for Sami if necessary, and they leave it on that. So, and we'll get more on Sami later in the show. We go next to the ring for the return of Charlotte Flair, the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner. Now, at the Royal Rumble, when she came back, initially, pops, big. Everyone was happy. She won the match. Pops, still big. Everyone was pretty happy. Come to tonight, she is booed like crazy. And it was painful to watch, honestly. Not because of what she was doing. She was doing her job. It's just the crowd was not buying any of it. And she did a really good job of turning them into kind of her heelish side. And I think that's the right route to go. It just sucked when she said how she didn't think she would wrestle again, and then the crowd just boos as she's doing that. And it sucked. Even I'm not the biggest Charlotte fan, but at that point, I think it was like, man, that's just rough, like from a human being perspective. But either way, Rhea Ripley interrupts, comes to the ring, dares Charlotte to take the match with her for a third time. So get a trilogy with Rhea, but Charlotte says, I don't know, I might go to NXT to see if Julia, the NXT champion, causes any inspiration, or she will go to SmackDown to scout out Tiffany Stratton. And that's pretty much the end of the segment. See your thoughts on that one?
She better not take her ass to NXT. I know that. Leave them young women alone. All right, you already did it once. You won a Rumble and challenged Rhea at Mania for the NXT Championship. Let's not do it again. It was cool. It was one off. Let's not do that. Let them young women get their shine. All right. You really want to piss people off? Some of them already pissed off. You won the Rumble. Like, well, let's not piss them off by trying to bury the younger talent down there at NXT. Leave them alone. All right. So with that being said, with this segment, I thought it was, I figured it's Cleveland. So Cleveland tends to be one of those riled up cities, especially when it comes to wrestling. So, Cleveland, I feel like, is a town that really does not like Charlotte at all, regardless if she's face or heel. And so I feel like in this situation, it's probably best for her to be heel because of the fact that we have all three champions. Well, in this case, two. We have Rhea and Tiffy on SmackDown. Both of them are, I would say, are face champions, are baby faces. More so Rhea than Tiffy. I think Tiffy's kind of like in that tweener stage, I guess. So, she's gonna talk her shit regardless, and so be petty. So I feel like you gotta have like a true natural heel to combat that. And so I feel like Charlotte, a lot of people are they want to see Charlotte versus Tiffy. We know what the athleticism is like between these two. And so a lot of people want to see it. I'd much rather see that, see Charlotte versus Tiffy as opposed to Rhea and Charlotte. And so that's my thoughts on it. So yeah.
All right. We go into our next match, which is a tag team matchup between Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. And to be honest, when I saw Dragon Lee on there, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he's with the company. Because all he's been used for is the Speed Championship.
Fortunately.
Yeah, so it's him versus the New Day, and the New Day coming out to a new Titantron and a new music. So I was very
About
interested
time.
with that.
About time.
Yeah, so very good there. Match was very good up until a point, and that was when Logan Paul came out to his hometown of Cleveland to raucous boos. He's out there because he faces Rey Mysterio next week in a Elimination Chamber qualifying match, and he interferes, of course, costing LWO the match. New Day get the victory, and I think it wasn't necessarily the fact that New Day won that they were booing. They were booing Logan Paul pretty heavily, and it's almost like, when he had his first run, it was like, okay, like you've earned respect and everything. You've done a really good job for what you did. But now that he's back, everyone's like, no, we don't want you anymore. Like that was a fun run that you had. Like stay away, and that's why they're booing. And I wonder if people backstage are wondering about this, especially after the whole Royal Rumble debacle that's been the hot topic the last couple days with Drew McIntyre. Um, yeah, crowd was hostile towards him. There's no doubt about that. See your thoughts on this match and Logan Paul getting involved.
Yeah. And he's from Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
Which makes it, yeah, I found it rather interesting that they did boo him. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. A lot of people, they just don't mess with him. Like whether it's on TV or off TV, like they don't mess with him at all. Like they just don't like him naturally. And so like I said, don't get me wrong. In the ring, he's solid. He's definitely developed a decent craft. In the ring, and has done his training. So I give him that credit. But I think it's one of those situations where it was like you said, it was a nice run. But it's almost to the point where I'm like, go back to boxing. Like you haven't proven much there anyway. You face all these random guys that's past their prime or does not deserve to be in a boxing ring at all with anyone. So and I guess I shouldn't say that, considering the fact I'm not a boxer. I'm not a professional boxer, so I shouldn't be saying who deserves to be in or not. But yeah, I just feel like Logan Paul. He had his United States Championship run, but outside of that, it's over. I feel like you're not really going to use him much for anything, especially in the main event picture. For either of the titles for United States or IC, he's not beating Braun, and he
Right.
So what are you going to do? And so that's my thoughts on it. I just feel like at this point, Logan Paul is out of place. But in regards to the New Day, I was glad to see that they have a new theme as well as new attire. And so hopefully, I think this begins the run for them to try to get this tag team championship gold. I think if anybody's going to take those titles off of the War Raiders, it'll more likely be the New Day. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right, then we get to our next match, which is a Elimination Chamber qualifying match in the women's division between Io Sky and Liv Morgan. Before the match, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are having a chat, only for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to come and hit both of them. Io clearly nursing the bad shoulder from the attack throughout the entire match, but she had an answer for pretty much everything Liv threw at her, especially with Rodriguez causing interference. Towards the end of the match, Rhea Ripley finally came to the ring, took out Rodriguez, but during that, she also hit Liv Morgan, which, with the referee watching, and caused for a disqualification, which meant that Liv Morgan won the match and Io Sky lost. So Liv Morgan is going to the Elimination Chamber, and Sky was very upset with Ripley as the segment came to an end. Just a real quick prediction. I feel like Io Sky will still find her way into the Elimination Chamber somehow. That being said, see, what are your thoughts on this match?
I'll be honest, I was watching a little bit of that, but also paying attention, more so attention to WWE 2K24. I knew Liv was going to win his match because, like I said, I'm over Io, being pushed for a championship. I'm at least women's world championship. I'm over that. So I'd much rather see Liv, at least have the opportunity to be in the chamber. In terms of Io possibly getting another shot, they'll probably do one of those last chance battle royal things they normally do. So whoever is lost previously, they get a second chance for that last open spot. I can see that happening and her possibly winning, which I don't want her to win. But yeah, I don't know what to expect, honestly, in terms of who's going to challenge Rhea, because more than likely whoever wins this match is going to be to challenge her. That's why I think Charlotte is going to choose Tiffy. So yeah, I think I just don't want to see Liv versus Rhea again. We're past that. We don't need to see it anymore. We're done. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
All right, then before we get to our final match, we get a promo from Seth freaking Rollins, who came out in interesting attire once again. I think he was a little inspired from the Grammys, possibly last night. I don't know what you.
Please, not on this pod. Not on this pod, coach. Not on this pod, coach.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
She will not invade my love of wrestling. No.
Okay.
Please continue.
We're staying clear. Either way, Seth Rollins comes out to the ring and talks about the Royal Rumble match. Talks about, yes, he didn't win, but there is still a path. He took pride in injuring Roman Reigns, who throughout the entire show, they were being very subtle about his injuries, just saying he will be out indefinitely. Also bragged about taking CM Punk's dream away of main eventing WrestleMania, and then finally called out Sammy before the main event and pretty much gave him a pep talk on how Sammy is way better than CM Punk. He is levels above him, and that he is going to win. And when he wins, it is going to be a victory for the company, and that's going to be everything that Punk deserves to get. And then, of course, as that ended, Punk's music hits for the main event. Him and Rollins have a brief tussle, only to be separated by security, and we head into the main event. But before we get to that match, see your thoughts on the promo and the brief altercation between Rollins and Punk.
The match itself, I thought was pretty solid. The altercation just proves that it's not over. It's never going to be over between these two. I do foresee, if Punk does not win the chamber, I definitely see Punk and Rollins having one more go. And then I know that leaves, the whole Roman Reigns factor. Like, what's going to happen with that? Might get a triple threat. Who knows? I thought the altercation just proved it's not over. The match itself, it was, I believe, it was pretty solid. So I think it was the first time they went against each other in WWE. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, so main event, Sami Zayn, CM Punk. It was a 20-plus minute match. And like you said, it's the first time these guys had ever faced each other, and they looked smooth together. I thought it was a very good match. Sammy got Punk into the corner, was lined up for the hula kick, only for Punk to counter into the go to sleep, to which he got for the win. Punk celebrating, then came over to Sammy, who, obviously distraught that he is not going to be in the Elimination Chamber in his home country. And Punk shakes his hand out of respect. Sammy accepts it. And as Punk leaves the ring, here comes Kevin Owens with a massive black eye from Saturday night and attacks Sami Zayn wearing a Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt like he normally trolls his enemies, and lays down a package pile driver on Sammy, and that is how the show comes to an end. Final thoughts, on the last segment and on Raw in general this week.
I thought, like, with the match itself, like I said, solid match. Between the two, him and Punk. And then the aftermath, seeing did catch me off guard. Seeing KO attack Sammy. But I thought KO would have been out for a hot minute based on how that match ended on Saturday night. Man, this man recovers pretty quick. Yeah, so I think we're about due for a revival of the rivalry between these two. And what better place to do it? Canada, where they're both from.
Amen.
I'm sure this will be something that they will want. We know the crowd will be behind them 100%. I'm excited to see these two lock it up once again. We know the last time they had a one-on-one rivalry, bloodline aside, it was top tier. We had a lot of great matches between these two. So even dating back to NXT when KO first arrived, Sami Zayn had finally won an NXT championship, and KO comes out there, celebrating with him, and he turns on him, power drive, basically gives him the pop-up power bomb onto the apron, corner of the apron, and so just like ever since then, it's been a rocky relationship or friendship between these two. So I'm excited to see what happens at Elimination Chamber between these two guys. Who knows if it goes all the way through WrestleMania? I think it will. I thought overall tonight, Monday Night Raw was pretty solid. I give it a solid B.
Yeah, so I agree with you on what you said there with Sammy and Kevin. Their rivalry back to NXT was unbelievable. One of the main rivalries that really got me hooked on NXT, if I'm being honest. It was because of those two and their rivalry that they had. I agree with you. I think really solid show. Started out hot with Jey Uso, kind of fizzled in the middle a little bit, but the last couple segments really saved it. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm with you. I'm going to say a B+, and gotta love that they're teasing potential matchups for WrestleMania. And one thing I did like about this is that it doesn't feel like they're rushing it. They're letting everything kind of develop first before they make everything official.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really, really smart idea. So yeah, B plus for me on this episode of Monday Night Raw. And for those of you joining us here for this Monday Night Raw Dog, we want to thank you again for joining us. If this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe to our content here at the We Book It podcast. This is one of the many shows that we have that we put out each and every week. We have our Monday Night Raw recaps. We have our AEW Dynamite recaps on Wednesdays with this guy as
Well,
the host.
we actually changed it. So what we're gonna do, kind of make it easier on me and Fritos,
True.
and you as well. So what we're gonna do is do a double header on Fridays.
Okay, so that okay.
We'll do. I know we did SmackDown first and did Dynamite. So what we'll do is we'll do. Depending on how we want to, if we want to interchange it or do, we do AEW first and then do Friday Night SmackDown recap. And so we'll just make it a double header, so that way we'll just push it out in one whole episode, so that way people can tune in to watch both, on one show. So that way we'll have just Sunday, Monday, and Friday.
Okay.
So, yep.
Well, then there you go, everybody. He just took what I was gonna say. So there you go.
Yep.
But like, share, and subscribe to all of our content. We're on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, Facebook. We also have a little bit of a TikTok page that we're developing right now. Again, spearheaded by that guy.
Yeah, it's already made up and running. It's called the We Book It Boys Network. So essentially, we're just putting out all kinds of content, skits, memes, reaction videos. I actually just uploaded one today, showing Mike's reaction to John Cena getting eliminated at the Royal Rumble on Saturday. So go check that out. It has a nice little slow-mo with some interesting music to go along with it.
Oh, very God, fitting. I can't wait to see that.
Very fitting, I might add. So yeah, We Book It Boys, all lowercase, TikTok. So go check it out. Get them followers up, get the likes up, share, repost, do all you need to do. And so appreciate y'all's support as always. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Who all will be tuning in once we get it uploaded.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time on another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog.